Show. Turn up your mind.
How do you plan to appeal to women voters in New Hampshire who are concerned about the Dobbs decision and how states may change their laws?
It's such a great question, and it was such a great victory. And,
oh, my God.
People are starting to understand it now. You know that they wanted to bring it back to the states, but that was probably the least important part of that victory. Getting rid of Roe v. Wade was an incredible thing for pro-life because it gave pro-life something to negotiate with. Pro-life had absolutely nothing being stuck in Roe v. Wade to negotiate with. And now what's happening, and I see it all over, deals are being made, deals are going to be made. And look, everybody that was president wanted to get rid and tried to get rid of Roe v. Wade.
You mean
for 50 years. Republicans. For 50 years, this has been going on. Actually, a couple of Democrats, too. But for 50 years, this has been going on. I was able to do it, and I was very honored to do it.
You
did it. But by doing it, things are happening that are very, very positive. And you have to, I happen to believe in the exceptions, the life of the mother, rape, incest, like Ronald Reagan believed in the exceptions. But I happen to believe that. I think it's frankly important to do that, but a lot of people are against that. A relatively small number.
He's lying about everything, but those words that he said there, that he feels that it was his victory that took away autonomy from women, that made us second-class citizens in our own country. That's going to be on every single Democrat's commercial going forward from here on out. Women are not happy with it. The questioner, the person that stood up and asked him the question, was asking him to reassure her that he was not down with overturning Roe v. Wade. She was asking him, how are you going to appeal to women voters? Now that the Dobbs decision has taken away a woman's right to choose, how are you going to win back women voters? And he doubles down and says, oh, that's a great question. I'm very proud of overturning Roe v. Wade. I did that. That's my victory. Wow. I mean, so I'm telling you right now that women are not going to vote for this guy. That's number one. Number two, young people are not going to vote for this guy. They don't want to grow up in a world that they have absolutely no say over when they start a family or with whom they start a family. I mean, the women that are telling their stories now are women who wanted to start a family. The pregnancy didn't go exactly according to, plan. Some women were bleeding out in freaking supermarkets. Other women were bleeding out in the car, in a parking lot, in a hospital parking lot. And the hospital was saying, we can't help you until you're, facing death. These are the exceptions, And this coming from a guy who, is such a sexual molester. I mean, his name should be Mo Lester. Obviously he's been with women who, have gotten pregnant and didn't want the child. And he's probably paid for about 9 or 10 or 15 abortions along the way. Guy's 77 freaking years old, okay? The last 50 years of his life, women have been able to get an abortion after he knocks them up and, didn't intend to. So, I mean, who's he kidding there with this? So that's not happening. Women are not going to be voting against. There are some women, just like there are some people who, are not lily white, that are part of the white nationalist movement. It's very counterintuitive, but it does happen. It's sort of Stockholm syndrome, or, people being raised in homes where, right-wing autocrats are preferred dictators over left-wing socialists, in the Latin American world. But, women on the whole are not going to be voting for Donald Trump, especially, since he's been, found liable of sexual assault, and since he brags about it, blah, blah, blah. And now, it's been proven in a court of law. The other contingent are young people. They're not going to vote for Donald Trump. They're not. Their issues are different from, older people's issues. Their issues are starting a family. Their issues are student loan debt. Their issues are home ownership and climate change. And this man has shown you 18,000 ways to Sunday that he even said last night, drill, baby, drill, as if, the problem that we're having at the gas pump is some sort of a shortage. We don't have any stinking shortages. What we have are gougers. What we have are people that are looking at, the ability to make, mega profits while they can, because we're about to transition away from fossil fuels and into renewables. And they are in their last gasp of air. They're trying to take every dime out of your pocket. I mean, it was just so disgusting. We have a surplus of natural gas in this country, and exports are down because, it's not that you got wars in, Russia. We're not selling any natural gas to them. We're not selling natural gas to Europe at this point because of war. I mean, no one's, and here's the other thing. What's wrong with Joe Biden? I know people are going to, well, he's not great on the TV. I get that. But what's wrong with him as president? I mean, if you had a choice between a 77-year-old fat freak who lies and is a con man and, is probably going to be a convicted felon at that point, or at least facing trial for felonies at the point that you're going to vote, over Joe Biden, what's wrong with Joe Biden?